Okay, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream for January 14th. We are back with FansUnite, FANS on the CSE, FUNFF over the counter. We have Scott Burton, CEO, Darius Agdami, President. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hi, Jack.
Darius, how you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for having us again.
Fantastic. We got a full audience here right now. We got a lot of excited people here in the crowd. So we got what's going on here? We got let's go fans. Yeah, a lot of people are pumped for the stock. So what we're going to do today is because again we're at the start of a new year. We're at January 21. We're going to do the slideshow, get the official story out. We'll come back for Q&A. And then we're going to have you guys back for like more of a live chat and extended audience Q&A, in a week or so with some news. So again, for anybody that's new to the program, our goal at Wall Street Reporter next Super Stock live stream is to bring you those stocks which have 10x to 100x upside potential. These are companies going after multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. They have multiple catalysts in place, and they're at a key inflection point right now, ready for explosive growth. Fans has been a great example. The stock debuted on our program, I think, at 30 cents. It was back in late summer, right before September. Hit up at we're at $1.25 today, making new highs. So let's see if fans could be that 10 bagger or 100 bagger. So with that said, guys, watch the presentation, ask Darius and Scott your questions, and then decide for yourself if fans is going to be that next super stock. With that said, guys, I'm going to disappear, and you could, let's get the slides here. And
awesome. Perfect. Well, thanks, Jack. I think Jack read our first slide for us, which is very helpful. For those guys that are new, so we'll walk you guys through the story, the arms of our business, the accomplishments we've had over the course of the last 6 to 12 months, and then where we plan on going from here over the course of the next few years. And then we'll open it up to Q&A, and Scott and I are always reachable after our presentation as well if you guys want to reach out and chat to us. So right now, just a bit about the industry. I mean, everyone knows the gaming industry is booming, right? So we're operating in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Estimates of 150 billion wagered online. Estimates of trillions being wagered across the world in gaming. So we're operating in a huge industry, and it's continuing to grow every day, right? With new jurisdictions opening up, which is why we're excited, right? We think we're still at the kind of beginning of the gaming industry, especially with the U.S. market. So something we're very excited about, and we believe that. Not just with the industry, we believe FansUnite as a company is at a major inflection point for us. So Scott and I and our team, we've been building technology, and we've spent millions of dollars building our tech over the course of the last year. And we have a few arms to our business that are now all being validated by paying customers, people using our technology, people playing our games, which is why we think we're at an inflection point. All arms of our businesses are now revenue generating. We've just raised a nice round, and so for us, 2021 and beyond is really just growth and scale. That's what we're focused on. We're focused on execution, and again, we'll walk you through all those arms of our business, and we'll walk you through some catalysts as well, some milestones we've already achieved, but some more milestones that are coming up for us in the next, in both the short term and the long term. And so just to give you guys a little bit of a picture of what our company looks like. So FansUnite Entertainment, that's the public vehicle. We're listed on the CSE under Fans. We're listed on the OTC QB under FUNFF. And then below are some of our assets. So the Chameleon's our technology platform we'll walk you guys through, our Ascot Games division, and then some of our own B2C brands that we run and operate in various parts of the world. And so for those of you the guys that don't know, we completed a merger. So Scott and his team Ascot with FansUnite, which was the public vehicle, we completed a merger, and we announced that in June, and it completed in August. And since then, it's just been focused on execution. The M&A transaction was really seamless, which is awesome. Scott and I have known each other for over 7 years, which I think is what made the transaction so seamless. We have a great working relationship together prior to that, and of course now moving forward. So as part of that merger, we completed a $5 million brokered financing. We oversubscribed that in August. Our deal closed, and we were right at work right away. So we announced our first partnership in September with Gameco, and it was big for us because this is what got our technology into the US market and probably accelerated our plans by 1 or 2 years and a few $1 million really, because we weren't planning on entering the US market this early. It was a state by state, it's expensive, it's time consuming. But when Scott and Gameco partnered up there to bring our technology in with their licensing strategy and their network with casinos and sportsbooks in the US, it was a huge milestone for us. And you'll see later on that we did announce our very first deal in December with the Sky Ute Casino in Colorado. And then, so in October, we signed our first deal with a casino aggregator. So the Ascot Games division is something we'll talk about today. And we signed our first deal with the EAR platform, which is an aggregator that has over 120 different sportsbooks, which potentially gets our games into, again, hundreds of sportsbooks. That's just the first aggregator deal we've signed. We're hoping to get a few more this year, which will hopefully get our games into thousands of different sportsbooks around the globe. Later on in October, we announced that McBookie had their record month. This is a company that's been around for over 10 years, a company that we acquired earlier on in 2020. We have huge hopes for these guys. We think there's so much potential for McBookie in the Scottish market, and October was a record revenue month for us. Over $7.5 million was bet on the platform across the casino and the sports book and the live casino virtual sports, and we had over 600 grand of revenue there for the month, which was awesome. In November, we made a decision to uplist to the OTC QB. We had a lot of potential investors, a lot of guys who were really interested in our deal. So we decided to uplist to the OTC QB, get more access to the US markets and the global markets, getting on new shareholders into the company. And then December, the last 45 days for us really has been massive. So we first got our 2 licenses in Malta. That's something that's been in the works for nearly a year. Stringent technical audits, of course, and due diligence from a tier 1 jurisdiction. But we got both our B2C and our B2B licenses in Malta, which allows us to operate in Europe. We'll walk through our licensing strategy later on in the presentation. And then we announced, as I mentioned, the first deal with the Sky Ute Casino in Colorado. So that was our first activation with Gameco to bring our technology into the US market. We're looking to launch that pretty soon. This will be the very first dedicated esports sportsbook in the US market. So that's why we're super excited about that. And hopefully it opens up the door for us for other states and other casinos around the states. And then as mentioned, we went out around mid-December and launched the financing. We announced about $5 million within, I think, 12 hours. We upsized that to 11 and closed the books right away. The investor demand there was strong. It was amazing. And we closed on Monday for a total of $13.4 million. So we're cashed up right now. And as mentioned, now it's just to continue about execution, focusing on the business, all arms of our business. And I'll pass it over to Scott right now to actually walk you guys through some of the group highlights and then walk you guys through both our B2B and our B2C platforms.
Yeah, thanks, Darius. Yeah, just on the group highlights. So Darius touched on a few of these businesses. So on the one hand, we've got the B2C side of the business. We operate a few brands ourselves that go direct to consumer, mostly opportunistically. So we look for niche markets or regions and go after. So McBookie, for example, focuses on the Scottish market. Vamos focuses on the Brazilian market. And then we have a couple of free-to-play customer acquisition tools with FansUnite and Esports bets. So with the B2C Live, we've had over 350 million in betting volume. We've got B2B deals signed. So we'll talk about the B2B business that we do for our software. Combined, all of our own sites have over 300,000 registered users. And then we've signed a couple of major partnerships with some major brands. So to talk about the two sides of the business, we'll start with the B2B, which is business to business. And this is where we license our platform, which we call the Chameleon Gaming Platform, or we license our casino-style RNG games under Ascot Games. Starting with Chameleon, this is really a full turnkey solution for anybody who wants to be in the betting or iGaming online casino space. So we have everything you would need to launch a betting brand that covers risk management, it covers gaming licenses, it covers the hosting. For players, it covers age, identity, location verification. And then we just plug in the different components that people are looking for, whether it's sports betting, esports betting, casino, horse racing. all of that is there. So we can do this either as a fully licensed product. So if somebody doesn't want a gaming license, we can sub-license licenses to them. If they do have a license, then we can just do a software arrangement. The revenue model here is great for us because it's a guaranteed monthly minimum. So we get a guaranteed monthly recurring revenue. And then we have the unlimited upside. So we do a revenue share as well. So as our partners grow, as their revenue grows, we take a percentage. So the upside is uncapped for us. On the game side, Ascot Games, we introduced last year, so late last year. And what we're building here is games tailored for sort of the next generation of online casino player. So we are really strong in the esports space. So we have a keen focus on the demographic, which would be 18 to 30-year-olds. It's probably the most desirable demographic in the gaming space. What we found was a lack of casino-style products that appeal to the same people. So the people that we're able to attract to bet on esports, we weren't being able to flip them into the casino because we just didn't have the games, or the providers didn't have the games we were looking for. So what we're trying to do here is build games that either have esports themes or video game look and feel. Some elements of control in some of these games, not all of them, but we do have some that are more gamified. So we are up to our fourth game now. So we launched 2 last year. We announced the third and the fourth. So we're just completing fourth testing. And then the distribution model here, as Darius mentioned, is through the aggregators. So once we plug into an aggregator, they access hundreds or thousands of online casinos and sports books. So it scales up really well. So we produce a game once, and then through these aggregator relationships, we can tap into thousands of sports books and casinos and millions of players. So we'll do a little demo here. If you want to check these out later, you can go to the Ascot Games site, ascot.games, and you can see. So a big focus for us moving forward is to focus on getting these into more aggregators. So this will show the first 4 games. I'll just let it run here. You can get a sense and then visit the site. So this is Titan Gems. It is a manga-themed reel spin game. So what you would kind of look for in more of a traditional casino-style game. So we have a few of these, but appealing again to the gamer demographic. And the next one is Crash Heist. So this is what they call a crash game. So here you're breaking into a bank vault, loading up with cash. Once you place your bet, that multiplier, the timer, is multiplying your cash. So if you don't get out before that goes off, you lose all your money. If you cash out at any time, you win that amount of money before you go. So here, the user won. This is Team Vortex along the same sort of game style as Titan Gems. This is a futuristic first-person shooter themed game. And then the next one is called Loot Hunter. So I'll let it pop up. So Loot Hunter was built on the loot case concept, which is very popular in gaming. So games are free to play, microtransactions by buying these loot crates. So we're kind of playing off that theme. So you buy keys, you open the crates, and hope you win a prize that's more valuable than what you paid to play. So those are the games we've got now. So the push now on the business development side is to move those into more aggregators. We were looking for a stable of 4 to 5. So we're at that point now, and now we really focus on the business development. So a big piece of business this year will be Ascot Games going forward. As mentioned now, the B2C is where we go direct to consumers. I'm just going to show a couple of them here, just for time's sake. But McBookie.com is really the flagship of our B2C operations right now. It was an acquisition that FansUnite did earlier last year. As mentioned, we're really building out the infrastructure around the team that was already there. So they've been around for 10 years. We're already seeing great results. We had our biggest month ever in October. It's a big year for Scottish soccer coming up this year with the Euros and Scotland being there. So expecting this to be the best year that McBookie's ever had. We are looking to move them onto their own UK license. So right now they operate under a sub-license of a provider. So we're working to move that. So we'll change the cost structure and save quite a bit of cost out of McBookie this year. So not only are we expecting to grow the top line revenue significantly, we do expect to take quite a bit of cost out of that business from some of the providers they've been using in the past and bringing them onto our infrastructure. And then Vamos. So this is an esports first, whereas McBookie is more of a traditional sports book. This is an esports first product. So this just shows our capability of leveraging the technology we own and the licenses we have. So with Chameleon platform, we can launch brands in literally days, depending on what localization is needed, but localization is key to what we can do. So we can look at a market like Brazil, which is a very strong esports market, and do a product tailored specifically for that area. So that involves language, it involves payment methods, it involves the partnerships we do. So we can increase conversion rates significantly by being in Brazilian Portuguese, for example, focusing on payment methods that are specific to Brazil, and then acquiring talent around, say, video game streamers to promote the product in their home language. So we can reduce a number of things, but the focus on localization is key. And we wouldn't be able to do that without owning the infrastructure and the licenses that we have. So we're just getting ready to push the marketing on this. It has started now, so people can access this site in Brazil. And so on the B2C side, I think we'll see a lot of growth both with McBookie and then a couple of new brands such as Vamos. Here's a look at what we call sort of esports betting, and we were really early in the space. So back in 2014, we started building esports betting products. So when you think of sports betting, I think a lot of people just think of a spreadsheet-looking page with fixed odds. You go in, place a bet, and leave. Again, we're focused on that 18 to 30-year-old gamer demographic. So we show the streams. You bet real time. So what you're seeing on the right-hand side is bets that are coming in every 20, 30 seconds, settling within a few minutes. So we really want people to stay on site and engage, and that's what we do on the esports betting side. We do have what you would expect from traditional betting, which is still going in and placing a fixed odds bet, but we're looking for a much more engaging product, and that's what we've built with the esports stream betting. And then to support all this, licensing is extremely important, and we've got a long history of doing licensing ourselves and getting licensed in some of the top jurisdictions. So just a run through where we're at today. Darius mentioned in December, we acquired 2 Malta gaming licenses. So Malta is in the EU, and it's one of the oldest gaming jurisdictions in the EU and a tier 1 jurisdiction. So we went there. We were previously in the Isle of Man, decided to leave the Isle of Man to go into an EU jurisdiction. So the 2 licenses we received, one is a B2B, which is allowing us to sell our software to other operators that are in the EU. The next one is a B2C license, which one, it'll allow us to operate our own brands direct to consumer, but also offer the white label solution where if somebody wants to run a brand of their own, if they maybe have a large user base, something they want to monetize through betting or casino, but don't want to go through the process of getting licensed and maintaining a license, we can sub-license to them under our B2C license. Curacao, we have a partnership in Curacao that is licensed to use the Chameleon platform. So if anybody's looking to license out of that jurisdiction, we can do the same service there. We can do a full white label solution, turnkey, and get people up and running extremely quickly under a Curacao license. Then with the UK, I mentioned we have McBookie now that's operating on someone else's license under a sub-license white label agreement. They didn't have the infrastructure around them before to get a license themselves. So that's one of the things FansUnite brought when they did the acquisition. So we're in the process now of obtaining a UK license. So that'll open up the UK both on a software side and a direct-to-consumer side. We'll save quite a bit of money in terms of the McBookie cost by having that internal, as well as being licensed in the probably #1 online gambling jurisdiction in the world. The US is the market everyone's really interested in right now, just with the repeal of PASPA 2 years ago, which is what is allowing the states to make their decisions on if they're going to allow sports betting. So we're up to, I think, 26 now. Everyone's expectation is that we'll be approaching 50. We weren't necessarily going to go into the US right away because of the sort of fragmented model. We don't intend to be a direct-to-consumer player in the US because of the large brands that are in there now. FanDuel, DraftKings, MGMs that are going to be spending hundreds of millions on customer acquisition. We intend to go in as a software provider. How we accelerated that was through a partnership with Gameco that Darius mentioned. So Gameco is licensed in a number of states already. So we've partnered with them to come in under their licensing and then offer our services. So far it's working well. We've announced the first one in Colorado, and then we hope to expand through the US through that Gameco relationship we have. And then Canada is a new one that's popped up for us. So we are a Canadian-based company. We do have people and offices spread around the world, but in Canada, it's really been a market that we have been excluded from for government reasons, regulatory reasons. So the first thing that happened was Canada is changing the betting rules to allow for single event betting on sports, which means before you could only bet on multiple games outcomes. You couldn't just bet on one match. So that's one change that's coming. And then the expectation is Ontario first, the largest province we have in Canada, is going to open up to outside operators. So right now you have to be, provincial lottery corporation or provincial government group to offer any betting or casino or lottery. Ontario is looking to give better consumer choice by opening up. So we expect that this year, hopefully, is when the first province will open up, and then others will likely follow. So we think we're well positioned from one location perspective, being here, having good relationships across the country, but also the fact that we know they're looking to jurisdictions like Malta and the UK for guidance, and we've already gone through both of those regulatory regimes. So I think we're positioned to move very quickly if and when Canada makes that change. And then going forward, we'll be opportunistic if we see regions that are adding regulations and it'll make sense for us to go in, then we will do that. As I said, we've got the sort of the team, the infrastructure to be able to go into these highly regulated areas and operate pretty quickly. So let Darius come in and finish on the team and the rest of the story.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Scott. So when we did complete our merger with Ascot in August, we decided to revamp the board. And as a junior company at that time, to get the type of board members we did with the three that I'll explain right now was a huge achievement for us. Just showed us the validation of what we're trying to achieve here. So we were pretty fortunate to get these type of guys on the board. Harish was a former president of Paddy Powered Betfair for Asia Pacific, which is part of obviously the Flutter Group now, which is the largest gaming company in the world. He specializes really in strategic M&A in the online gaming market, helping companies go into new jurisdictions, both on the B2C as well as the B2B side, great government relationships, and has huge amount of network in the Asian markets on financing as well as other gaming companies. Chris Grove joined us as well. He's a partner at Others in Christchurch Gaming in the US, a nationally recognized industry expert, probably one of the top guys in the U.S. market on the sports betting side. Had started multiple companies in the U.S., exited those, and he's been amazing, opening up doors for us in the U.S. markets for partnerships and M&A and financing and even more. And then James Keane also joined us on the merger. He was a founding member of Paradise Poker, which during the poker heydays was, I think, one of the top 3 poker sites that sold to Sporting Bet. He became a managing director at Sporting Bet, and he's currently the CEO of a social casino game developer. So, Scott and I are also on the board, but these type of guys give us a global presence, open up so many doors for us. They already have in the last 6 months and continue to all around the world, in Europe and Asia, in the US market, which is obviously a place we want to wedge ourselves into over the course of the next year or two. And just to summarize the presentation from Scott and myself today, so as we mentioned, we're operating in a massive market and one that's really growing every single day. And we went public in the beginning at the start of the pandemic, but it's proven to be pandemic proof. People are continuing to bet on sports. When sports halted for that 1 month or 2 months, our casino and our live casino and our virtual sports started to increase, which was awesome. And I think we're really seeing that shift to online gaming with people not allowed to go into the bars or the stadiums. People are playing online right now, which is awesome. And then we believe we're at an inflection point as a company. And as mentioned, we spent years developing technology. Now all those arms of the business that Scott walked you guys through are revenue generating from B2C, from B2B, and then we're continuing to build infrastructure. So with our multi-licenses going into the UK, into Latin America, into the US market, and hopefully Canada, and we're continuing to build that infrastructure so that we can become a global iGaming company. And then moving forward, for this year and beyond, we're very focused on continuing to get more gaming license. UK will be the next one for us. US expansion, we've signed our first deal with the Sky Youth Casino in Colorado. We want to sign more deals in the States, continuing to operate regulated and licensed sports books and be the technology behind the scenes. We want to get more B2B partners, so as many people as we can licensing the Chameleon technology. That's a big goal for us this year. And then, of course, significant revenue growth on all aspects of our business, from the games division, from B2B as well as B2C. And then the last thing that we really didn't touch on is just with the team we have, the board members, the advisors, and being in the gaming space for decades, we have a lot of access to deal flow, which is great. We are seeing deal flow every day, and we'll be opportunistic on that as well. We'll look at companies that bring us new technology or a good user base, good revenue, good cash flow, and if it makes sense, we'll look at those to provide shareholder growth that way as well. So we're actively looking at deal flow all the time. So thank you guys. We'll get Jack back here and see if there's any questions that we can answer for you guys.
Okay, let's. Here we go. Okay, we got a bunch of great questions coming in. Let's jump in with Andrew Harper. Andrew's asking, does your B2B, B2C growth strategy vary by jurisdiction? Is there potential for B2B growth to be impeded in areas where Fans has existing or planned B2C and is seen as a competitor?
Yep. Yeah, good question. And I guess the answer to the first part is yes. So it does vary by region. As I mentioned, we look at the US, and we don't think that's a place at this time where we're going to want to be as a B2C operator. Again, because of the regulatory environment, the cost structure, and then just what is going to be the customer acquisition and marketing costs doesn't play well for us. So that's where we just look to be B2B in the US, pure B2B. When we look at other areas, when we looked at Brazil as an esports place, because it's a huge esports or has a large esports fan base, and we thought it could benefit from a site that was focused there. We decided to launch B2C there. But what we do is look for local partners that are going to run the marketing and acquisition for us. So we've found a couple of guys who know that space very well, have operated there before, that are currently going to do the customer acquisition side. So it's almost like we create a white label situation in those regions where we still focus on the licensing, the tech, and then find a local partner. But yeah, anywhere where we do expect to see very large growth in a region, we will likely stay out as a B2C operator and focus on B2B.
Okay, question, which branch of your business would you say is currently generating the most revenue, and which do you see taking the lead by end of 21?
Yeah, so we're still heavy, the revenue is coming primarily from B2C operations with an emphasis on McBookie. They're doing really well. So we do expect for this year that to continue, and that will ramp up, and Vamos will hopefully ramp as well. So for the majority of 2021, in terms of the breakdown, it'll probably still be B2C will be the biggest part of our revenue. B2B, as we sign deals, we've got a couple more that we should be coming soon. Those take a bit of time to ramp, so we will get the monthly minimums. But if some of them may take a while till we're growing that monthly revenue share portion. So we expect that to be, more 2022, that type of growth. I guess the wild card is as we launch and release the games, if those hit, that could outpace anything we've got going around B2C, I think, quite quickly.
Okay. Question. Actually, before we get into this question, because he mentioned esports streamer, I guess he's talking about the guys. People pay to watch these people play. You showed in your demo. You showed the in-stream betting. So you have like new bets coming in, as you know, people are playing the game, as like in tournaments or what have you, right?
Yep.
So that really kind of ties in, you know, like right now we're seeing a lot of, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I think it was in the Guardian, in the New York Times, there's big articles about like, you know, the millennials now, you know, that's driving the, you know, the whole video game boom, esports, you know, it's bigger than, you know, it's sort of like, you know, what happened was, you know, like 10 years ago, all the millennials jumped from, or everybody was jumping from traditional media into social media. Now those people are jumping from social media into gaming. So that's like the big mega wave, because everybody wants that interaction and everything else. How, like what you do with the in-stream betting, is that something where, is that a unique thing, or are other companies doing similar things? Like how unique is that?
Yeah, so that is our technology. I mean, we're the first ones ever to come out with that and put that on a site live. And currently, I still have yet to see anyone doing it sort of at the real-time level that you saw there. What people will do is show the streams and then have standard bets that are just live once a stream. So they'll call that live in play. It just means you're watching a stream and there's always a bets that are always going to be there. Whereas ours are kind of hyper contextual. So whatever is happening in the game, that actually will dictate what the next questions are, versus what a lot of people call live, which means you're watching and you can bet on something at the same time you're watching, but it's not going to change as the activity changes. So that's a real differentiator for us.
That's a huge advantage, because I mean, all of a sudden, I mean, it makes like really, you know, live. It's you know, it's dynamic.
Yeah, it can take your you know, your average bet count per user from the tens to the thousands. You know, like the amount of bets that you can offer if you can do that. Yeah, it goes up exponentially, and that's really what you want. Is especially when we thought about it, and you look at the user base that is so used to microtransactions. So your average bet size for a typical esports bettor is going to be probably lower than your average traditional sports bettor. But if you can get them to place 100 of them versus 10, that's really what we were going for. So let them bet €1 at a time, but give them 1,000 betting opportunities.
Yeah. You know, I guess it ties into the whole, like, you know, sharing, fractionalization. Everybody buys, you know, a tenth of a share of whatever, of Tesla on Robinhood, or
Yep.
you know, so everybody, you know, that's the new thing. So that's fascinating. Now is that so your ability to have these like really dynamic in-stream bets, is that like patented, or like how much protection do you have in that, or are you going to constantly develop, you know, new innovation to stay ahead of competition?
Yeah, I mean, we just we focus on innovation and improvement on everything we're doing right now. So we don't have patent protection on anything. You know, we have trademarks and things like that. But the other unique thing about it, because we are, you know, the B2B platform, is our partners have the ability to run that themselves as well. So what we wanted was, if you're on the Chameleon platform, we'll cover every major event with that stream betting. So you'll have access to that. But if you're in Eastern Europe and you're a betting brand there, and there's a tournament, you know, that we're not going to cover, your team will have the ability to run that style of betting on local regional events. So you don't need us for that. You'll have access to everything we are showing and running, but they can do that themselves as well.
Okay, no, so it's interesting, because the I think it was DraftKings. Yeah, we've talked about it before. You know, they're saying that, you know, esports, they're expecting, you know, this, you know, they mentioned on a conference call, the CEO said that, you know, he expects the esports to be like, you know, it might almost be bigger than regular sports betting, and that's kind of, you know, so you have a real tremendous advantage. So I want to jump into the internet president. His question: are you planning to sponsor any esports streamers?
Yep. Yeah. So I actually think, you know, we were probably one of the first companies in this gambling space to ever sponsor an esports team, going back to 2014, 2015, when we had our first esports site. So we have in the past worked with streamers, and I think it's an effective way to get customers. So right now in Brazil, we are looking for streamers currently to help be brand ambassadors. So we've done it in the past. We will do it again. We have kind of a unique relationship with IMG. So IMG is one of the biggest sports and event management groups in the world.
Oh.
So we're their exclusive esports betting partner. So what that gives us access to
for IMG, the big talent agency.
Yeah. So they bought UFC. So they represent.
Did you ever mention that before? This is the first time I think I'm hearing this.
Yeah, you know what? There's a chance I haven't. Yeah, I mean.
How much good stuff are you hiding? I mean, you
guys
to become real promoters. I mean, this is IMG is a major. It's a major deal. So explain this partnership with IMG.
Yep. So we're the exclusive sort of esports betting partner of them. So what we do is they basically operate as an arm of our business that will handle things like streamers, teams, and events. And they'll do it for our brands, but also if we have a partner on the Chameleon platform who wants to go after streamers or event sponsorship or team sponsorship, IMG will do a sort of scan of that industry for us. So for example, they'll go to Brazil, come back to us and say, here's all of the upcoming events in esports, here's all the teams, here's all the players, here's the ones that have sponsorship, here's the ones that don't. Then we go say, okay, here's, we like this one or these ones. Then we'll engage, IMG will then go out and approach the teams or the events or the streamers, negotiate the contracts for us with them to be talent for the brands, and then manage that and activate it. So they'll do the activation, they'll do the management. So it really gives us a whole organization to tap into that we couldn't build ourselves. So it'd be a lot of work internally.
It's a major partnership. I mean, it's like
Yeah. So
the right example, like in I don't know, no, but it's a huge deal. I mean, it's IMG.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I said, so somebody comes to us and wants to go after a region, we can give them help through IMG, get the sort of best contracts negotiated. I mean, they do it for Serena Williams, like they do it for massive tennis stars, soccer stars. They they do run all the sponsorship for the World Cup type thing. So it's an amazing group to work with. Gives us great access to anybody. So if IMG calls a professional streamer or gamer, the phone gets.
They take the call. I mean IMG is like that's, you have access to anybody. Sports people, top sports, everybody. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to be running a little bit late. I'm going to try to jump in a couple of questions. I think what we're going to do is I'll ask a couple of questions. We'll have you guys back maybe in a week. We'll spend a lot of time on Q&A. Andrew is asking, how meaningful will margins increase for MIG Bookie once the UK license is granted and tech migration finalized?
It'll be meaningful. I can't speak to the exact margin number through because of the partnership they've got right now, but there is a percentage of their revenue that's being paid to someone else currently that will not be paid to them, if we switch. So it'll be a meaningful piece of business number for us.
Okay, and Moonbeam, do you have real-time betting for traditional sports?
Yeah, so we don't do it now, but we have the ability. I mean, what you saw there, if somebody gives us the data and the stream or the link, it doesn't really matter to us if it's Counter-Strike or soccer. So the technology would work either way. It's just finding the partner with the data.
Okay. Question from Colton. From the thesis webinar yesterday, can you elaborate on the comment creating the first UFC sportsbook?
I don't recall.
I think it was probably the first esports sportsbook in the US market.
Yeah. So if it was that, yeah, we don't have anything really around UFC other than what McBookie would have. But if it was the first, it could have been the esports sportsbook that is going to be launching in Colorado. With the Skyu Tribe, the Skyu Casino and Gameco. So that's an announcement we made. Was it December? I think, Darius, we made the announcement, and then we're underway in the integration and the installation of servers in Colorado to operate it.
Okay,
UK is it's in process, so it's not submitted, but we're moving as fast as we can to get that submitted.
Okay, let's see here. We got a bunch of people asking about any uplisting to NASDAQ, etc. You know, you mentioned TSXV.
Yeah, so it's on our, I guess, radar for sure. We haven't officially started anything on that, but it's just, I guess, a logical move for us now with the, I would say, the way the stocks perform, the valuations and things, the access to capital. So it makes sense. So we'll be putting plans in place, I would imagine, but nothing has begun yet.
Okay. See, I mean, okay, so right now you're sitting in a bunch of cash. I mean, you're gonna have how much, like, you know, the deal? What are you gonna have liquid right now?
You know, I think we'll have around 15 million cash, and then you know, substantial amount of warrants as well out there. But yeah, it's a good amount of capital for us. Nice to get that out of the way at the beginning of the year and focus on the execution.
Okay, so what, you know, I mean, like, again, once the stock, you know, let's say the stock keeps moving up, you got all this cash. You mentioned that you have some, you know, you're looking at some M&A opportunities. Do you have, like, are you proactive looking at deals, or is it stuff coming in right now, just deal flow coming in from advisors, etc.? Like, and can we expect any, like, transformative deal in the next, let's call it, quarter or so?
So we are getting proactive now. This was, I think, one of the first things to get, like I said, get out of the way and put us in a cash position where we could make a move. So we've had a lot of flow coming at us, but now we are moving to more of the proactive stage to actively look for something. And I would say, you know, transformative is probably in the plans of what we'd like to find. I don't know when we would do it or announce it, but you know, Darius is, you know, the first two Darius did with FansUnite were both transformative, and so I think he likes to do those big deals that are transformative. So it's
Darius, what are you looking at? What kind of deals can we expect? Something transformative.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, the Ascot merger definitely transformative. We love the McBookie, so we're looking at those type of deals where, you know, we can put fuel on the fire. So if we find
now you have real money. I mean, before you had no money. I mean, now you have, you know, serious cash. You have 15 million. You have a stock that's moving up. I mean, you have,
it opens the door, you know, for us for sure to be able to look at these assets and be a little bit quicker and a bit more nimble to acquire good assets that we think, you know, are undervalued.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot more firepower that you have now than you had, you know, 6 months ago.
Exactly.
So let's see here. Okay, what we'll do with two questions, and we'll jump to our next presenter. Okay, Moonbeam. Is there an opportunity to partner with FanDuel traditional live in-game betting Super Bowl launch? I'm not sure. What is?
Well, Scott, we do live betting on our McBookie platform. Scott was just mentioning on the Chameleon platform, it's something we are integrating right now, but we do live in-game betting, and I don't think we need to really bring on partners for that. We can handle that technology ourselves because we've already done it in esports.
What do you guys think of this? Tim is asking. So Twitch has quote unquote betting in game. I'm not familiar with with channel. Can you integrate with Twitch?
Yeah. I mean, we could. The things with Twitch and the challenges that you would have, and we've faced with them would be one around their terms of service, but Twitch is, I would say, probably hesitant to get into any sort of real money betting, partly because their user base is so one, geographically spread, but also age spread. So there's a lot of platforms like that are really focused on the game community that want to keep real money betting separate from their community. So that's where Twitch has stood in the past. I don't know if that will change. You know, with the US changing their rules, a lot of people are just rethinking how they're going to approach real money betting and seem to be more open to it. So maybe down the road, but in the past, there's been resistance to do any moves to real money.
Okay. Question. Okay. When is the next earnings coming out?
It'll be the year-end audit. So that's end of April, I believe.
Okay. And what about projections?
Yeah, well, the only real revenue guidance we have given is in the coverage from the analysts from Mackie that launched a few months ago. And that's really the only revenue projections we put out there. We projected about 5 million of revenue this year, of 15 to 17 for 2022. And those are hopefully conservative numbers. We have of our executive team, of the 5 members, 4 of them are accountants. So we like to put numbers out there that we think we can hit. You know, we had a goal from 2019 to 2020 to double revenue. We did that. So when we put a number out there, we really hope we can hit those.
Okay, yeah. So 15 to 17 million revenues next year is the conservative estimate.
And that doesn't include bringing on revenue through M&A. And that also didn't factor the fact that now we have 15 million in cash in the bank either. So.
Okay. So 15. So it's a pretty. I mean, and you've met your targets for last year.
We have.
So you have credibility, and so it's good. So it's okay. So it sounds like a good number. So how many shares are outstanding right now, fully diluted after the financing?
Got to double check after the financing. Undiluted, we're about 156 right now. Fully diluted, I think we're closer to just over 200.
Just over 200, yeah.
Okay, so basically, so it's kind of it's still a little cheap compared to like what some of the peers are trading at in kind of the space, especially the sports betting space. I mean, the multiples are like going off the charts with like DraftKings, Fubo, everybody.
Yeah, we think we're at a lower entry point for a lot of those competitors, and we would put our tech up against any of those. I mean, a lot of them actually don't even have their own tech, right? So we're pretty excited about our position, the team we've built, the technology we've built, the cash in the bank, the pipeline of M&A, and a much lower entry point than a lot of our competitors.
Okay, last question. We're gonna jump to our next guest. Okay, so our favorite question. Top 3 reasons why investors should consider FansUnite. I'll let one of you guys. I don't know. You guys want to do 3 each, or you want to mix it up? I want to do it.
Darius can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start. I think one is execution. We've, as mentioned, even with our numbers, but everything we've done since the merger in August. When we put our heads down and focus on achieving a goal, we hit those goals. So execution, I think we've shown the market we can execute with the global partnerships, with revenue breaking numbers on our McBookie platforms, with getting new clients on the B2B, delivering our games when we say we're going to deliver. So when we say we're focused on growth for 2021, we expect to hit all our milestones. We expect to get a suite of 10 games. We expect to bring on more clients on the B2B, and we expect to do some more M&A deals. So I think execution is big for us. The team we have right now is very strong. We walked you through some of the board members. We have peripheral advisors as well who are very active in our deal, from everything from legal aspects of the business, from government relationships, operations, from marketing, M&A, financing. We have guys with a tremendous amount of experience. So I think our team rivals really anyone out there. So we're excited about that. And then our technology. We put up our technology against any other company out there. We've been spending years, millions of dollars, and with a top-notch tech team building out the Chameleon platform and continuing to innovate. So our technology is the backbone of our company, and it's what's going to drive us to the level we think we can get to.
Okay, Scott?
No, I agree with Darius. I mean, I always start with our team, and then just the massive space and sort of momentum that gambling has and is going to continue for the coming years. I think is going to be. I don't think there's another industry like it right now. When you look at the valuations that are happening today, and as I said, you've only still got half the U.S. that's even made an announcement about sports betting, so you still have the rest to go. So I just think there's huge opportunity ahead. So space is big.
Yeah, definitely. Like everything is, all the tailwinds are really in your favor. So okay, on that note, thank you guys. We're going to catch up to you probably next week or so, or whenever you have the next major news announcement.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Jack.